Welcome to this explainer of Vinicius Jr.'s 2026 World Cup campaign. Today, we're unpacking a story of immense pressure and a brutal twist of fate that literally derailed an entire nation's dreams. We're looking at a tournament where he was absolutely electrifying on the pitch, yet, as you'll see, it all came crashing down in a single, devastating moment.
To really understand the climax of this story, we first have to look at the massive burden Vinicius carried into North America. For years, he faced this heavy, relentless criticism that his world-beating electric form for Real Madrid just kind of vanished the moment he put on that famous yellow shirt for Brazil. He even admitted himself there were always times when he just couldn't show his football. The anxiety was palpable, right? The entire country was basically just waiting for him to step up and be the talisman they so desperately craved.
Okay, let's dive into this. The turning point for Vinicius didn't actually come from a new pair of boots. It came from the dugout. Before Carlo Ancelotti took over the national team, Vinicius managed just 6 goals in 39 appearances for Brazil. But under Ancelotti, the exact same manager who unlocked his potential at Real Madrid, he scored 7 goals in just 13 games. Ancelotti completely reinvigorated him. He shifted Vini more centrally, allowing him to attack the space directly behind the defense, instead of just leaving him isolated out on the wing. It's like Ancelotti built the entire attack around maximizing Vinicius's distinct strengths.
And wow, did it work beautifully. In the group stage, Vinicius had this explosive awakening. He scored 4 goals in just his first few matches, brilliantly silencing those lingering critics. To put that into perspective, those 4 goals tied him in the Golden Boot race with Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, sitting just one single goal behind Lionel Messi. He was playing with freedom, he was playing with joy, and he was finally translating his undeniable talent into World Cup production.
But, the spotlight on Vinicius wasn't just about his footwork. He was operating in this intense, pressure cooker environment where his influence literally changed the rules of the global game. Just ahead of this tournament, FIFA enacted what was informally dubbed the Vini Jr. Law. Following a February 2026 Champions League incident where an opponent allegedly directed racial abuse at him while covering his mouth to avoid lip readers, FIFA stepped in. So now any player covering their mouth during a confrontation gets an automatic straight red card. His battle against racism had physically altered how the World Cup was officiated.
Because of that intense spotlight, absolutely every single move he made was scrutinized and the tension was just palpable. Take this, for example. During a tense 1-1 draw with Morocco in the group stage, cameras caught Vinicius flat out refusing to speak for a mandatory halftime interview. When a broadcaster warned him that FIFA would fine him for skipping it, Vinicius didn't even blink. He fired back, "We will pay the fine, but we will not give any interviews." He was fiercely protecting his peace, opting to take a financial hit rather than submit to the media circus mid-game.
And even in his moments of absolute triumph, controversy really was never far away. Take Brazil's 3-0 victory over Scotland. Vinicius was spectacular, right? He scored twice. But he originally thought he had another one, having cleanly stripped the ball from a Scottish defender and slotted it past the keeper. The referee gave the goal, but VAR overturned it for a perceived foul. It was such a combative, high-stakes atmosphere that the Brazilian Football Confederation actually lodged a formal complaint to FIFA. They demanded Mexican referee Cesar Ramos be removed from future matches, citing a negative history and inconsistent officiating. Everything surrounding Vinicius was dialed up to 11.
If you're enjoying this documentary, subscribe to Flop Files and share this video with a football fan. We uncover the stories behind football's greatest moments and biggest comebacks.
All right, now we plunge into the tragic climax of this tournament, the round of 16, Brazil facing off against a resilient, very dangerous Norway side. Now, to really set the stage for this, you have to understand the historical weight here. Norway had miraculously never lost to Brazil in 4 previous contests, and that includes a famous victory at the 1998 World Cup. The air was just thick with suspense, and Brazil, despite Ancelotti's tactical shifts, was looking really tentative and reactive.
The first half devolves into this chaotic, nail-biting sequence in the Norwegian penalty box. First, Brazilian striker Matheus Cunha goes down under a really heavy challenge. The referee waves it off, and a tense VAR review upholds the no call, which absolutely infuriates the Brazilians. But then, just 2 minutes later, Norway's Kristoffer Ajer commits a blatant foul. Another video intervention happens, and this time, the referee points to the spot. It is a golden, match-defining opportunity for Brazil.
Vinicius Jr., 4 goals in the tournament, the hottest feet on the pitch. The entire stadium is waiting for him to step up and write his redemption story in ink. But then, team orders dictate otherwise. He actually hands the ball to midfielder Bruno Guimarães, leaving the fans completely gasping. So why didn't Brazil's top scorer take the penalty?
Well, the answer lies in Carlo Ancelotti's strict, statistically backed penalty hierarchy. When everyone is fit, the top choice is Neymar, who happened to be on the bench at the time. Then it goes Igor Thiago, Rafinha, Bruno Guimarães, and Gabriel Martinelli. So of the players actually on the pitch at that exact moment, Bruno Guimarães was the highest-ranked penalty taker according to Ancelotti's metrics. Vinicius wasn't even in the top 5 options for the squad.
And this brilliantly illustrates why the coaching staff made that deeply controversial call. Throughout his professional career, largely at Real Madrid, Vinicius had taken 19 penalties. He converted 13 and missed 6. So that's a conversion rate of just 68%. In the brutal reality of elite football analytics, that simply isn't high enough to warrant taking a knockout stage World Cup penalty. Plus, he had missed 2 of his last 3 penalties for the national team. The math simply did not support human instinct.
But football is played on grass, not on spreadsheets. Bruno Guimarães steps up to the spot. He attempts the stutter step approach to try and throw off the keeper, but Norwegian goalkeeper Orjan Newland reads it perfectly. He makes the save. It is an absolute heart-sinking moment for the South American Giants. The game remains tragically deadlocked, and you can just feel the momentum instantly shift. And that missed penalty proved fatal. Brazilian panic began to set in, and you simply cannot panic when Erling Haaland is on the pitch. Haaland ruthlessly punished Brazil, scoring a lethal brace. His first came from a brilliant cross in the 79th minute, and his second ultimately sealed the game. Even a late stoppage-time penalty conversion by a substituted-in Neymar just wasn't enough. Erling Haaland had sent Brazil packing with a devastating 2-1 defeat.
The immediate aftermath? It was devastating. A fierce public backlash erupted, spearheaded by none other than Brazil legend Ronaldo Nazário, who publicly criticized Vinicius for seemingly avoiding responsibility when his country needed him the most. But Vinicius showed immense stoicism here. Instead of throwing his manager or his teammate under the bus, he defended the system. He stated, "The coach chose Bruno because he considered him the most prepared. Some will say that I hid, but that's not true. It's not about ego, but about what is best for the team." He stood by Bruno Guimarães, flat out refusing to let his teammates shoulder the blame.
Vinicius Jr. came to this World Cup to prove himself, and for 4 matches he did exactly that. But football rarely lets you write your own ending. One missed penalty, one brutal night against Norway, and suddenly the redemption story became a debate about blame. Thanks for watching Flop Files.